Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome to YouTube. My name is SeaRaptor, and today we're back still discussing the new ranked season, Season 16, as we head down to Tier 7. This time, we're going to take a talk through the various cruisers. We're going to have some recommended picks, some ships that maybe not be on the recommended list, but would be good picks to play, and then maybe talking about some ships that you should really not play for the benefit of your health and that of your team. All right? So let's get to it. Starting with the recommended list, top of the list, this will shock no one, is HMS Belfast. If you've played previous Tier 7 seasons of Ranked or Ranked Sprint, you knew this ship would be here. Premium Belfast simply has too many things going for her to not make this list. Smoke, radar, hydro, quick-firing 152mm HE shells. This thing is a holy terror to fight against, regardless of what class you are in. There's a reason that this ship isn't sold anymore. A ship that can sit in smoke and spot for itself for any length of time is OP to play and a bloody nightmare to play against. If you plan to play this ranked season at all, get used to seeing these and develop a plan for how you intend to deal with them. Belfast is a really good ship, and people who own one are going to bust them out and take a flamethrower to the opposing team. Next on my list, might be a little surprise, but maybe not. This is Premium Tier 7 Italian cruiser Abruzzi. If you've hung around the channel a while, you probably suspected this ship would be here. I consider Luigi Savoy Duke Ledegli Abruzzi to be one of the hidden, underrated gems of Tier 7, and never more so than when a recent viewer opened my eyes to the fact that she can, in fact, equip a spotter plane instead of defensive fire. Somehow I had missed that all these years. And it's one thing that I feel gives her a big boost in this ranked season. You know she won't see an enemy carrier, and with the repair party consumable, her hydro, her speed, her handling, that extra spotter plane, Abruzzi has an outstanding mix of tools at her disposal to contribute to a team victory in some fashion or another. Moving on the list, let's talk about HMS Surrey. There are some really, really good heavy cruisers at Tier 7, but the one that makes my recommended list is the newest of the bunch. Surrey is a solid mix of armor, stealth, main battery shell performance, and a nice consumables list as well, including a repair party, which in my opinion is what really catapults her up the list. Do not underestimate this ship's stealth. 9.7 kilometer detection is light cruiser detection in a heavy cruiser. That can get you killed if you're playing a light cruiser and you don't know where this guy is. Her major handicap is that she is slow for a cruiser, so you've got to plan your routes and your board position carefully when you play this ship, or you're going to find yourself caught out of combat for long periods of time. Overall, though, this is an excellent pick. And finally, we come to two ships that play very similarly, but bring a different mix of consumables. I'm talking about Premium USS Flint and Premium USS Atlanta. Flint is kind of like a baby Belfast, right? She has smoke, so she'll set up camp and just spew shells downrange in copious quantities. Atlanta trades that smoke for surveillance radar, which makes her a holy terror if she's allowed to freely hunt destroyers just whenever she feels like it. Either of these ships is a good pick, although I will say Atlanta is harder to play because of her detection radius, handling, and that lack of smoke. Flint is a little more forgiving. If you happen to be playing a destroyer and have an Atlanta on your team, do him a solid every now and then. Try to team up with him and lay him some smoke in the early and mid-game. Help defend those caps and help defend you in your destroyer from the big bad destroyers that are out there trying to kill you. Now, there's some ships that are really, really good, but don't necessarily make the recommended list. Let's have a look at what I would consider some honorable mentions, starting with Tier 7 Premium Italian cruiser Gorizia. This ship is going to surprise people, I think, that I put her on this list, but the more I look at her, the more I'm convinced that she's a sleeper this season. Yeah, I agree. The lack of torps is an irritating problem. But everybody knows how frustrating it is to fight destroyers, and what kills destroyers very dead very quickly? Semi-armor piercing rounds. Given that Gorizia also packs German hydro, she ought to be a fantastic candidate for rooting ships out of smoke the team needs to dislodge or straight up kill. Her armor scheme is among the best for cruisers in her tier, and she retains that get-out-of-jail-free fuel smoke that all her cousins in the tech tree have. So if you own a Gorizia, give her a try. I think you're going to be surprised at how effective she is this season. Next on the list, Tier 7 tech tree cruiser HMS Fiji. If you own a Belfast, you play a Belfast. If you don't own a Belfast but want something nearly as good, play Fiji. Fiji is one of the best Tier 7 cruisers in the game, and that's saying something given how many good cruisers there are in this tier. The existence of Belfast is the only thing that keeps this ship from making that recommended top of the list. The improved penetration values and bounce angles on her AP shells make her a really, really nasty ship against destroyers and cruisers alike, and if left to her own devices in one of her little self-generated smoke clouds, she can easily farm tens of thousands of damage off of even battleships. Charging a Fiji concealed in smoke is risky because unlike Belfast, Fiji mounts torpedo launchers. When you add a hydro and a repair party consumable to that equation, the end result is a really, really solid competitive ship for ranked gameplay. Last in this category is Tier 7 tech tree cruiser Yorck. Anybody who hasn't played Yorck in years might be a little surprised by this pick, but anybody who has played her is just going to nod along with me and agree. Yorck's 210mm HE shells are the best performing HE shells in the entire German cruiser line, and since they buffed her AP shell velocities, it's almost like having a little tiny hipper one tier lower. That new 25mm bow armor she just got literally one patch ago will allow her to close with and punish some of the battleships she sees. And with 6 torpedoes available on each side of the ship, enemies that close to brawling range with the Yorck are unlikely to live to recount the tale to their teammates. This is probably a ship I'm going to play quite a bit of because I feel like this is a really, really good pick. Well, Yorck has a lot going for her. On the avoid list, it's a testament to the overall quality of Tier 7 cruisers that I can only think of one ship that I would legitimately advise players to avoid at all costs, and that is premium American cruiser USS Indianapolis. On the face of it, Indy has a lot going for her, right? 9 barrels of those American piercing shells plus 10-kilometer radar. That sounds like a nice package. But where she falls apart completely is her survivability. There's essentially no Tier 7 cruiser squishier than Indianapolis. USS New Orleans over in the tech tree recently got her bow armor buffed, like Yorck did, but that buff has not been extended to Indianapolis. She eats full pins from both high explosive and armor-piercing shells all day long at almost any angle, and the ship simply melts under concentrated fire. What's more, the opposing team knows it, and Indianapolis' detection radius does not do her any favors in this department. So there you go, guys. Quick look through the Tier 7 cruisers. I may not have mentioned your favorite ship, and I'm dead serious when I say that Indianapolis is probably the only ship that I would avoid. You could pick almost any Tier 7 cruiser and make a case for it. Shkurs, Lazo, Algerie, Miyoko. God, Miyoko's a great ship, right? So if you're down and determined to try one of those other cruisers, or you're leveling that ship, hey, go for it. You can absolutely make it work. But if you want some recommendations, those are my thoughts. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Be safe out there. Good luck in the rank season, and I'll catch you next time.